Everyone, thanks for joining us. We're very excited for this call. Please keep your microphones muted. There's a lot of us on the call, and we would like to be able to get through our intro and all of our speakers, and we'll hold the Q&A for the end if possible. So I'm going to turn it over to Clark Massad, our Vice President of Global Partners.
Well, thank you, Kristen, and welcome everybody to today's IGLTA Members Connect call. We will be focusing on the upcoming 37th IGLTA Global Convention in Atlanta, and it's great to see so many beautiful faces interested in this, our first in-person get-together since the 2019 IGLTA convention in New York City. My name is Clark Massad, and I'm Vice President in charge of Global Partnerships and Convention Sponsorships for IGLTA, and I'll be your host for the next hour. And I'd like to give a special welcome to our IGLTA Global Partners, our members, our non-members from around the globe, and recognize the IGLTA staff and board members that are joining us on today's call. We have more than 250 people participating on today's call from more than 40 different countries. And we've got a great lineup of guest speakers, so let's get started. And just a quick reminder, be sure and stay on the call until the end for your chance to win a free registration to the IGLTA convention in Atlanta this September. IGLTA Foundation Board Co-Vice Chair Maria Kuba will be drawing the name of a lucky winner at the end of this call, so don't go away. Don't walk away from your computer, don't leave the camera on, because we're actually going to ask you to call your name out and make sure that you're here at the end. We have quite a few non-members joining us today, so before we get started with our guest speakers, who I'll introduce in just a few minutes, I've been asked to give a brief background on IGLTA, who we are, what we do, and a few highlights of the upcoming convention. IGLTA is the International LGBTQ Travel Association. It was created in 1983 by a group of gay guest house owners and travel advisors in Southern Florida. And today we have a global network of more than 8,500 tourism professionals in 80 countries. Our members are hoteliers, travel advisors, tour operators, destinations, airlines, cruise lines, travel media, anyone with a travel-related product or service that wants to market to LGBTQ travelers. The IGLTA Global Convention is the world's premier educational and networking event for LGBTQ+ tourism professionals. Personally, I often refer to it as LGBTQ+ Travel Summer Camp because it's really a unique experience and it's like family getting back together. And after such a long pause, I think we're all eager to see one another in person again. Some highlights of this year's convention include our buyer-supplier marketplace on Wednesday, September 8th, where suppliers can meet one-on-one in scheduled appointments with pre-qualified buyers. And just as a frame of reference, in 2019, the marketplace generated more than 1,100 appointments with buyers that sell US $92 million in LGBTQ+ travel annually. So it's a great opportunity to get your product out there. We also have outstanding plenary and educational sessions. We'll be focusing on DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and LGBT marketing strategies such as DEI policies as a formula for business success, LGBTQ+ travel trends beyond 2021, and building back better, how the LGBTQ+ tourism industry can come back in a more responsible and sustainable manner. On Friday, we'll have a tourism showcase networking lunch, followed by media networking, which will give our attendees the opportunity to connect with media and pitch ideas to get coverage of their brands. And if you'd like to contribute to the educational sessions, the call for speakers is still open until May 15, and Kristen will put the link in the chat for us. Also, the deadline for early bird registration is coming up. It's been extended to next Friday, May 7. So hurry up and register to take advantage of early bird pricing. And again, Kristen will put that link in the chat for us too. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our convention sponsors, because without their support, the IGLTA convention wouldn't be possible. And I'd especially like to recognize our presenting sponsors for this year's convention, the Atlanta CVB, Delta Airlines, Discover Puerto Rico, the International Experience Canada, and the Italian National Tourist Board. I've been asked to address the recent changes to voting legislation in the state of Georgia. And as you may already know, IGLTA is not a political organization. Our mission is to promote LGBTQ+ travel by supporting businesses who welcome LGBTQ+ travelers and by driving LGBTQ+ business to our members. However, many of our international convention attendees and members may not be aware, but recent legislation in Georgia enacted severe restrictions and limitations on voters' rights and is a cause for concern. The bill has been a source of a lot of discussion and has led to calls for boycotts in the state of Georgia. IGLTA recently published a statement on its convention website, and I'd like to read an excerpt of that statement now. IGLTA will always stand with those advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion, like our partners at the Atlanta CVB and the Atlanta Office of the Mayor. We do not see boycotts as the answer, as they only serve to further disenfranchise those who are already getting left behind due to racism, economics, or identity. IGLTA does not support boycotts. We are moving ahead with plans for our convention in Atlanta this September, out of respect for our local partners and all the hard work that's been put into organizing this convention over the past 3 years. Plus, we truly believe that with your help, we can make a stronger statement by being present and by moving forward with our convention in Atlanta. With that, I'd like to now introduce our first guest, Malik Brown, Director of LGBTQ+ Affairs for Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms' Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Malik, are you with us?
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you all are. Thank you for having me, and thank you so much for this opportunity to my home city of Atlanta. I am actually here today. President Biden, it's his 100th day in office, and he chose to spend that day in Atlanta and around Georgia. So I'm in my car because they haven't had a chance to sweep any of the offices yet. So I had to find a place to talk to you on the fly. But thank you so much for choosing to come to Atlanta. It's been a historic season for our city. You know, we are known as the cradle of the civil rights movement. You know, we've given birth to folks like Martin Luther King Jr., Congressman John Lewis, President Jimmy Carter, and we're so proud of our legacy. But really, over the last year, you've seen so much power coming out of Atlanta, from our bustling tech industry to the election of our first Black senator and our first Jewish senator, to delivering some of the votes that Biden needed to win. All of those folks who really ran on a pro-equality platform. If you tuned into the president's remarks last night, you heard his support for LGBTQ people, specifically trans people. So just really a good time to be in Atlanta most of the time. As was mentioned earlier, we are not thrilled about this new restrictive voting law, and we will continue to fight against it. It really isn't a partisan issue. It certainly should not be one of party. It's really a equitable issue, and really trying to restrict the rights of voters, particularly people of color and impoverished people, is not something that Atlanta stands for. And it's certainly not a part of our legacy. So you will see the mayor and leaders like Stacey Abrams continue to fight against that. So with that, I will, say we are very thrilled to have you. The mayor is super excited to see all this fall. And I think you might have a couple of questions for me.
There, now I'm activated again. I was going to mention that you are a lifelong Atlantan, and you are the first full-time official in Atlanta to focus on better connecting the LGBTQ community with the Atlanta City Hall. Atlanta also boasts the LGBTQ Advisory Board, and which is composed of citywide LGBTQ civic leaders, influencers, and advocates. And since 2013, the City of Atlanta has had the proud distinction of being a perfect 100% score on the HRC Municipal Equality Index, despite being in a state with no LGBTQ inclusive state level protections. So with all that being said, how important is it to you to be hosting a convention like IGLTA in Atlanta and to supporting the LGBTQ community?
Yeah, thank you. It's incredibly important. As I mentioned earlier, it is just a really incredible time for our city, a city that has such a rich history. Having the opportunity to host this. We know here in Atlanta that we are the LGBTQ capital of the South. And it's a place where LGBTQ people, by and large, can come and feel safe and be who they are and take their full selves to work every day. And so it's just incredibly important. We have, you know, a beautiful, especially before the pandemic, an incredible nightlife scene. There are so many options for however you identify within the LGBTQ community. We have so much culture. We have incredible Southern food. So it's just a really great time to be hosting this convention, especially because our tourism industry, as you all know, has been so affected by the pandemic.
Well, that's great, and we're glad to hear that. And you know, yeah, we really feel like it's important to bring our support to the tourism industry in Atlanta as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about your role on the Mayor's Advisory Board and maybe give us one or two high-level examples of ways in which the Mayor's Office is supporting the LGBTQ community in Atlanta?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have the pleasure of working for the most pro-equality mayor that Atlanta has ever seen, and one of the most pro-equality mayors in the country. Mayor Bottoms is really leading municipal LGBTQ affairs on a national level. And so it makes my job, as you can imagine, a lot easier. But the first thing that I will just agree or share about the mayor is she really prioritized this community. If you look at her, we're nearing the end of her first term. If you look at what she's done over the first term, the real focus has been on people. So LGBTQ community, immigrant communities, and criminal justice reform. But the first thing that she really did was just create this role that I have, which is Director of LGBTQ Affairs. It didn't exist in Atlanta or in the South. And by having this role, I get to advocate for the LGBTQ community every day. And it's my entire job. So I get to really focus on it, support the mayor's LGBTQ advisory board, and really, you know, celebrate and bring progression to LGBTQ rights here in Atlanta. So even just creating this role is one of the first really big things that the mayor did. We've also done things like economic opportunities for LGBTQ people. We know that it's sometimes harder for LGBTQ people, especially trans people, to get jobs. And with that, we've also done some funding around trans housing, HIV, LGBTQ youth. So I will leave it there. And I can share with each of you a copy of our first ever LGBTQ report, which goes into detail of all of the things that we've done.
Oh, that would be great. And if you want to share that with us, we'll be sure to send it out to everybody that was registered for today's call. And speaking of advocacy, I mean, obviously we're all very much in support of that. And thank you for all the work that you've been doing on the advisory board. It's important work. And I think it's a wonderful support to the convention coming to Atlanta. Our next guest is David McCauley, who is the director in the Washington, D.C. area for the Office of the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau. The ACVB has been a proud IGLTA global partner since 2013. And David, you are a true Georgia peach and have been with the ACVB for 25 years. 2021 marks the first time in IGLTA's 38-year history that we're bringing our convention to Atlanta. So can you tell us some more about some of the exciting things that the ACVB has planned for our convention attendees?
Absolutely, and I am indeed a Georgia peach, like Malik, born in Atlanta. right on Peachtree Street, no less. But hey, one of the great things about being the destination host for the IGLTA Global Convention is you guys get to do all the work on putting on the sessions during the day, and we get to have all the fun at the evening events. So let me share just a little bit about what you're going to see in Atlanta. First of all, the opening reception on Thursday, September 9th, is going to be at the amazing Georgia Aquarium. It's the biggest aquarium in North America, who'd have thunk, in the middle of downtown Atlanta. But it's amazing. The aquarium's known for hosting the biggest Pride event in Atlanta. Every year they host a 5,000 person party inside the massive aquarium. We're going to have it a little bit more intimate in their beautiful Oceans Ballroom with 2 giant windows that look into the beluga whales and the whale sharks, with food and beverage provided by Wolfgang Puck Catering. It's going to be awesome. You're going to have the chance to not only mix and mingle and it's going to be a homecoming of sorts, right? When we come to the welcome reception at the aquarium, but you're also going to be able to explore the aquarium yourself. You'll see the new, amazing, incredible, and as my friend John Walker at the aquarium says, jaw-dropping Sharks, Predators of the Deep exhibit. Imagine being in a shark cage. They have an experience where you yourself can get in a shark cage and take a kind of a horizontal trip through it. On Friday night, September 10th, the IGA Foundation event, Voyage, will be at the Delta Flight Museum. Delta Airlines, our partners at the ATL District, which is the destination marketing organization for the airport, led by our friend Cookie Smoke. How about that? Her real name, Cookie Smoke. You gotta love it. And her partners, Proof of the Pudding Catering, are gonna put on an incredible Voyage event like you have never seen before. I see John has it as his background. I think that's what they call the Spirit of Delta 767, where we'll have some food and beverage set up underneath the wings. That's the plane that was bought by Delta employees and donated to Delta Airlines some years ago. Even more incredible than that, they have a giant 747 sitting outside at the main entrance. I don't know if we're going to get to sneak in there and have a cocktail, but I certainly hope so. But the Delta Flight Museum is going to be something incredible to see.
That sounds great, David. I know I'm really excited. I was at the Delta Flight Museum, I think in 2014, and I'm looking forward to going back again to see it and how it's evolved. And of course, the Georgia Aquarium is always a fun time too. And I know that they will really roll out the rainbow for us at the aquarium. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But beyond the convention, what are some of the other must-see attractions in Atlanta for those that, a lot of our convention attendees that come in early or they stay late or they do both. So what are some of the other must-see attractions in Atlanta for those that come in early or stay late?
Well, the convention itself is going to be taking place in the heart of Midtown Atlanta. That's what you see behind your shoulder, Clark. That's what you see behind me. Back in 1969, shortly after the Stonewall Uprising in New York, the sentiment of LGBT people throughout Atlanta and Georgia, and indeed the American South, were looking for a place to gather, to come together, to be themselves. And they found it in Midtown, right in the heart of Atlanta. Midtown back then, it was kind of a hippie village, sort of the Haight-Ashbury or the Castro of Atlanta, if you will. But fast forward 50 years, and you can see that it's one of our booming business destinations, great restaurants. They call Atlanta a city in the trees or city in the forest, and you can see why. So we hope you get out and walk around Midtown. The Host Hotel, the W, is just a block from Piedmont Park, which is the heart of Midtown. Midtown's also the cultural district of Atlanta with the High Museum of Art, the Fox Theater, and so many other attractions. I see some of our Atlanta CVB members on the call today, so we'll look forward to engaging you in the convention as well.
Great.
In addition to that,
Go ahead.
And you can't go to Atlanta without visiting the Martin Luther King Historic Park. It is just a mile and a half from the Host Hotel. You can see Ebenezer Baptist Church, his birth home, of course, his very familiar grave site, the White Crypt. And then back downtown next to the Georgia Aquarium is the National Center for Civil and Human Rights. It is an incredible, compelling museum experience that connects the American civil rights movement with the broader scope of global human rights, really what IGLTA is all about. So we know we're going to curate some specific tours that are going to involve civil rights and specifically those two attractions. So that'll be fantastic.
That's great, David. Thank you very much. And I also had the opportunity to visit the National Center for Civil Rights a few years ago too, and it's an absolutely mind-blowing, breathtaking experience. So I highly recommend it.
And I've got 100 more things I could talk about, but I'm just going to let Travis put some websites in the chat. You all take a peek.
I'm sure you do. Thank you. And we've got a lot of pre and post tours that will soon be posted on the IGLTA convention website. So for all of you that are planning on coming to Atlanta for the convention, be sure and check back to the convention website on a regular basis for updates on the pre and post tours. And speaking of coming to Atlanta early, Atlanta Black Pride will be held the weekend prior to our convention, which is also Labor Day weekend, and it's expected to attract 50,000 attendees. I'd like to now welcome Melissa Scott, who is co-owner of Atlanta Black Pride Weekend. Melissa is also an Augusta, Georgia native, and she and her business partner, Avian Watson, launched Trax Girls 15 years ago. She's also the co-founder of the Pure Heat Community Festival and of Pure Heat Community Foundation. So Melissa, are you with us? You're not on my screen, but I know you're online. Hello and welcome. There you are.
Hello, I'm here. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the call. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Black Pride. And, you know, I understand that sometimes you find it challenging to get businesses engaged in supporting Black Pride because they tend to focus primarily on the larger Atlanta Pride in October. So tell us a little bit about that.
This is true. But over the years, we've definitely began getting more engagement from different corporations and different local businesses and national businesses as well with regard to support of Atlanta Black Pride Weekend. Atlanta Pride, which takes place now in October, it's a monster. It's the big boy. So Atlanta Black Pride is kind of the spinoff, and it's more focused. But we're getting the support now, and of course, we want people to attend both prides. We definitely attend Atlanta Pride in October. Atlanta Black Pride has some features and some things that are more specific to the culture that we do, like the JSET competitions, things like that we add. But in general, we're definitely starting to get the community support.
That's great to hear, and I'm glad to hear that it's growing. 50,000 people, that's pretty incredible. Is that what you're expecting this year also?
This year is going to obviously be a little tricky due to COVID. Atlanta has been, quote unquote, open a little differently than the other cities. So we've had a lot of influx from different, travelers coming from other cities where things have been closed a little bit. Atlanta, our restaurants have been open a little bit more. So we've had a little more flexibility with regard to entertainment and at least, being social, but with a distance. But we've definitely had that opportunity here in Atlanta. So I believe Labor Day weekend is going to prove to be a very, very, interesting weekend, while practicing social distancing, but entertaining 50,000 people at the same time.
Well, and how can our convention attendees get involved in Black Pride? Are there opportunities for them to have an expo booth or something like that in the park? What are some of the opportunities?
Absolutely. Traditionally, there has been a booth there for you guys, and there'll be one there as there has been in the past. Now, this year will be a little different as the Atlanta Jazz Festival is actually taking place Labor Day weekend over at Piedmont Park. So we've been working with the city really closely. As Malik mentioned earlier, Keisha Bottoms, the mayor, has just been phenomenal with regard to, being an ally with the LGBTQ community. And we had a situation where, the festival kind of trumped the situation with Black Pride, and her organization came in and kind of cut us out a little part of the park so that we can still have our festival. So, I mean, just the support. I've never worked with an organization or a mayor's office or a governor's office that is supportive as our current administration with Keisha Bottoms.
Well, that's great to hear. And
yeah.
you mentioned Piedmont Park, and thank you, because that's a great lead in, because Piedmont Park is actually 1 block away from our host hotel, the W Atlanta Midtown. And with us today to talk about the importance of DEI to a global travel brand is Apoorva Gandhi, who is Vice President for Multicultural Affairs and Business Councils at Marriott International. And Marriott has also been a proud platinum level IGLT global partner since 2015. And the W brand is one of the 30 brands in the Marriott family. Apoorva also serves on the IGLTA Board of Directors, and we're thrilled to have him share his perspective on the importance of DEI and welcoming LGBTQ travelers. So Apoorva, welcome.
Hi, Clark. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Well, Clark, thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so excited to see all of you in person. We're a company that hugs, and we miss. Maybe we'll do fist bumps or elbow bumps, but I'm getting my second shot on Monday, and I can't wait to feel liberated and to really get back on the road. I think the fact that we are doing this in Atlanta is so important for 100 reasons. One, it's just a great city, first of all, with just so much to offer. But also from a DEI perspective, you probably can't pick a state or city that has been more involved in this conversation. Wow. Historically, many years, right? Obviously with Dr. King, but also just in the last 6 months, whether it's the election, whether it is the runoff election, whether it's around voting rights. We could keep going on. And I want all of you to know that, we one of the reasons we love partnering and being part of IGLTA is because we share the same values and the same goals. We're about welcoming all, no matter who you are, where you come from, who you love, or what your abilities are. And you can probably see right behind me a building where we're just so excited to be upcoming, and our team is ready to welcome everyone, to welcome all of you and help you have that sense of belonging when you walk through our doors. As I always say, we want our folks, whether you work for us, do business with us, own our hotels, or come to us as a treasured guest, to be the same person when you walk in our hotel as you are when you walk in your house. We want to welcome you as you are and celebrate you as you are. And it's really been part of our 90 plus years of inclusion, of welcoming all, and from the beginning. And we're just so excited to show you how love travels, to show you what it feels like to be welcomed, to be cherished, to be celebrated, and to also get some good, important work done in the conference, right? We're here to have fun, but we're also here to listen, learn, thrive, and excel. And Clark, I just, what's so important to me is not only the relationship we have with IGLTA and by extension, all the attendees, but also frankly, the friendship that we've developed over the years. And we just can't think of a better organization in this space to partner with than IGLTA, and with you, Clark, John, and the team. And we're really excited to welcome you. I plan to be there in person. And if I go in for the hug, you can stop me and give me an elbow bump if you feel better with that. But we just can't wait to see you. And thanks for choosing us. And here's to some good times coming up.
Thank you, Apoorva. And yeah, you mentioned love travels, and I think we are really looking forward to bringing the love to Atlanta and bringing the love to the W Hotel. This will actually be the first IGLTA Global Convention at a W Hotel. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to introduce now Shannon Peters, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing at the W Atlanta Midtown. Shannon, you have more than 15 years of experience in hospitality. And besides hosting the IGLTA convention, can you please tell us a little bit more about some of the ways that the W Atlanta Midtown supports the LGBTQ community?
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me today. I'm excited to kind of share with you a little bit about W Midtown and answer any questions that you may have. As Apoorva mentioned, Marriott brand has kind of really welcomed inclusion since the inception of its brand. And then I'm proud to say that as a W branded hotel, we've always been out proud and in support of the BTQ plus community, my apologies, since the inception of this brand. So while we look forward to our opportunities to partner and be activists in annual events like Pride Weekend each year, it really is our day-to-day relationships, partnerships, and programming within the community that allows the W Atlanta Midtown to be a welcoming home away from home for the community. Within the brand, we have a Queer Me Out series, which is a speaker series that engages the influential members of the LGBTQ+ community to kind of raise the volume on important issues of equality and acceptance. In our weekly activations, we incorporate drag queen bingo in our living room lounge, which has been a huge hit, not only for our hotel guests that are traveling from out of town, but for our local community as well. And in general, we just really try to remain engaged within the community to be that go-to place for work, travel, play, and to stay. And really, when it comes to celebrating Pride each year, it really kind of brings things full circle for our team. We have a float every year in partnership with W Brand and the Marriott hotels all across Atlanta. So for our team to be immersed and having fun with our friends, colleagues, partners, customers, friends, and neighbors on the float and within Pride weekend, it really allows us to stay connected, and it brings the weekend full circle and really amplifies the celebration for our team.
Well, that's great. And, Apoorva mentioned earlier that he's going to be hugging everybody, and hopefully by then I'll have my second vaccination too. But, given the pandemic, I know a lot of our attendees are concerned and are very interested in the safety protocols that are at place in the hotel. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. I just got my second shot last week, so I'm ready to hug everyone. But we have, since the hotel reopened last June, we have practiced and kind of evolved our standards as things change with the CDC guidance, Marriott guidance, the guidance of the governor and the mayor. And we will continue to evolve as things may change and improve into September. Currently, we're relying a lot on technology. So from your mobile app, your Marriott Bonvoy app, you can, of course, make your reservation. You can do mobile check-in, so you can have a touchless experience. You can use your mobile phone to check directly into the room. Within the room, we are offering room service. And again, it's a QR code scan menu in room service at Wet Deck, which is our pool if you want to order food and beverage, in the living room lounge. So everywhere you go, we try to have a menu or an electronic option for you to see what your options are and to order and connect with our team. From the hotel's vantage point, we get our temperatures checked every day. We all wear masks, gloves, as required by each of our specific disciplines. We do currently have a mask. Masks are mandatory within the hotel for all guests when you're in the common area spaces, with the exception of if you are actively eating or drinking. In addition to that, we have sanitization stations throughout the hotel, in the guest lifts, which is what we call our elevators, signage so that it's a constant reminder to maintain your social distance as necessary. We have social distance all of our existing furniture so that when you walk in, wherever you sit, it's a comfortable experience. And then from a meetings and events perspective, Marriott has spent a lot of time kind of creating a blueprint and perfecting what a meeting in person would look like, should look like, so that our meeting planner friends and event planner partners kind of have a blueprint and a little bit of a cheat sheet to help them plan the most safe, most comfortable meeting for every type of attendee. We've been doing learning labs in major cities across the US. We had ours here in Atlanta just a couple weeks ago, and some of the planning team members from IGLTA were in attendance. So I'm confident that we will partner together to create the perfect and most comfortable atmosphere for all of you all to attend, enjoy, and just see everybody. It will be so nice to see people in person again and engage and network, and in true W fashion, have a good cocktail together.
Well, and you mentioned earlier that masks are required unless you're actively drinking, and there might be a little bit of active drinking going on during our convention. I just want to warn you. So, but thank you for that. And I know everybody will be actively using their apps and taking advantage of all the touchless experiences. And hopefully the situation will be a lot better by then too, as far as global vaccinations roll out and everything like that. But one of the questions that's come up a few times in the chat is about having a virtual experience for our convention. And I just want to reassure everybody on the call, we do have a committee on the board of directors that is looking into and working with our production company on the various virtual options. So stay tuned for more information about that. If you're not already subscribed to the IGLTA newsletter, you can do that and follow our social media channels. And as soon as we have more information on that, we will share that. Another question that came up was from Richard Armstrong, was wondering whether or not there will be any opportunities for not-for-profit organizations to participate in the convention and interact with delegates, and if so, how to proceed. So yes, absolutely, there are opportunities for not-for-profit organizations to participate in the convention. One of the opportunities I think might be interesting for a lot of organizations would be the showcase, the tourism showcase lunch on Friday afternoon. And there are expo table opportunities available at that time. So if you would like more information about that, you can reach out to us and we will send you more information. On top of that, everybody is welcome to attend the convention and participate in all of the plenary sessions, the networking events, and all the educational sessions as well. Another question related to the educational tracks is what are the educational tracks and who are the primary attendees? And really, our convention, we have something for everybody. The content doesn't follow specific tracks in the traditional sense, but we have good content for HR professionals related to DEI, as well as content for marketing and PR professionals. And again, all the programming will be up on the convention website under the program menu. So if you want any information about that, please feel free to visit the convention website. A question for David and Travis is what properties in Atlanta handle the LGBTQ market? And obviously the W, but I think it's probably safe to say that almost all the properties in Atlanta are LGBTQ welcoming. So either David or Travis, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, heck, we could, Porva, how many Marriott brands are in Atlanta? I think it's been 80 something, it's probably increased by then, but I think all of them want to get engaged with the gay traveler, and I think they need to get engaged with IGLTA to learn how to do that. But certainly everything from the big convention hotels that we have downtown to the smallest of boutiques. I know a lot of us gay travelers tend to gravitate towards offbeat or whimsical or independent hotel brands, of which we have several in Atlanta. I mean, but Marriott and their properties are of course a leader, and all of your other partners. I mean, they all do it right.
Well, and you know, I think it's safe to say that Atlanta is a very welcoming LGBTQ city. You know, being an IGLTA global partner since 2013 with the Mayor's Advisory Board, Malik's involvement on that. Travis sits on the LGBTQ Advisory Board as well. So, and as a gay man, having already visited Atlanta, I can say that I felt very welcome in the city as well.
But our focus is strictly on the W Midtown. Let's fill that up first.
Exactly. One of the other questions we had was from Branda Shuki from Celebration, Florida, asking how travel agencies can benefit from attending. And travel agencies, really your best opportunity is the buyer supplier marketplace on Wednesday, the day preceding the first day of the convention. And as I mentioned earlier, that is one-on-one pre-scheduled appointments between pre-qualified buyers and suppliers. So the pre-qualified buyers being the travel agents and tour operators, the suppliers being the hoteliers, the destinations, the attractions from all over the world that are coming to present their products to you. So that's one of the great opportunities for you. And then there's additional networking opportunities and educational opportunities, breakout sessions throughout the entire convention that will help you learn more about welcoming LGBTQ travelers. You can also reach out to apply as a hosted buyer to have one-on-one meetings in the marketplace. So as I said, all that information is on the website. So please visit the website under the Buyer Supplier Marketplace tab, and you'll have more information about that. I think that's about all the questions we have right now. Oh, one more just popped up. Given travel restrictions, do we see this as being more of a US-centric convention? Well, you know, a lot of that's going to depend on the evolution, like I said earlier, rollout of vaccinations, the evolution of any quarantine restrictions, that type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think we are thinking that this will be a primarily domestic US convention, but we always have a good international showing. And we've already had strong interest from our international members that are planning to come. We do have a visa letter available for anybody that needs that. So if you need a visa letter in order to obtain a visa, that is available as well. Please reach out to us. So yeah, it's probably honestly going to be somewhat of a domestic convention, but we know that there's going to be a strong international showing nonetheless. So we're coming up towards the end. Is everybody still with us? Because the moment you've all been waiting for is coming up shortly. Maria Kuba, are you there?
I am here. Hi, Clark. Hi, everybody.
So Maria is co-vice chair of the IGLTA Foundation Board of Directors, and she is here with us today to announce the winner of our drawing for a free convention registration. And for the rest of you, remember that early bird registration ends next Friday, May 7th. So if you don't win today, you can still take advantage of the early bird rate. So Maria, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Clark. I am so happy to see all of you, and I cannot wait to see you in person in September in Atlanta. It's going to be fabulous. I am a hugger too, so I hope that I get to hug some of you, and if not, we'll high five. We'll definitely have a great time. So joining you today from sunny Puerto Rico, very excited to hear that Discover Puerto Rico is going to be part of our sponsors too, so that's going to be fantastic. The moment that you have all been waiting for, remember, you have to be here. So I hope that you are here. And the winner for one free registration for our Atlanta convention is Brandon Shuki. He joins us from Celebration US, representing Dream Vision Travel. Brandon, are you here? Is Brandon here? Oh my God, this is a moment of truth.
Must be present to win.
Yes, very important.
Brandon is not with us right now.
Yay.
No, oh, well, I'm so sorry, Brandon. We still hope to see you in Atlanta. And I know you're gonna have major FOMO, but we do have a, runner-up in just in case. And that is Billy Culver from New York Hospitable Me. Billy, I know you're here because you're right in the center of my screen. Yay! Everybody, Billy.
Hey there. Wow.
Well, congratulations, Billy.
Thank you. I think I'm going to be there anyway. But
I think you were, yes.
There you go. There you go. Congratulations, Billy. I can't wait to see you in person in Atlanta.
Me too. This has been a great program. And I think Atlanta is going to be a turning point for our industry. And it will be, I just came back from the first global convention of any sort since the pandemic, the World Travel and Tourism Council Global Summit. John Tenzel and I were there in Cancun this weekend, and I can say it was weird to see people and figure out whether we do this or whether we do this or whether we do this. But it was amazing to be back, and you see the power of meeting in person. So many people on this call this morning. It's exciting to think about us all being together in Atlanta.
Well, thank you, Billy. And you've actually spoken at our convention previously too. So thank you for your support and your input. And we're all very excited. I know I'm looking forward to Atlanta. It's going to be my first international trip since February of 2020. So I'm ready to get on an airplane to anywhere, but I'm glad it's Atlanta. Thank you all for joining us today. This has been a truly heartwarming and wonderful experience, especially seeing everybody's smiling, shining faces. We're looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta. And please let us know if you have any further questions. Please visit the IGLTA convention website, and we'll see you in Atlanta.
Can't wait.
See you then. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Obrigado.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Oh, Maria, go to the beach for me, please. Adio.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
Oh, we have Amazonas.